Hello everyone and welcome to the DeHart house. My name is Alicia and I'm your host of this crafty channel here on YouTube. Today is Saturday, November 2nd of 2024 and it's time to talk about all the things I managed to make and create during the month of October. I'm coming to you from my craft room, which I've reorganized yet again. And I live in the greater Seattle region of Washington State in the United States. It is a very cool, wet, fall, wintry kind of day today outside. Um, I foresee lots of indoor activities today. I I need to do a bunch of grading this weekend. I teach for a living and it's midterm season, so there are a lot of assessments and assignments going on that I need to go through and give my students feedback. So there will be a lot of that happening this weekend. But I've also already managed to fit in a little bit of crafting time this morning, so that's been very nice. So first off, I will let you know that I didn't finish anything this month, which is very sad, but also expected because I have big projects going on and, big projects are not quick. So, but I have made progress. So I want to show you the progress that I've made. I've also gained new tools to my craft room, which motivated me reorganizing the space so that I can have room for these new tools. So I'll also be sharing with you some new things that I picked up in the month of October. So first up is one of my sweater projects. I have two garments on the needles right now, and one of them has seen the most progress. So this is my two-color broken seed stitch cardigan, and I finished the body last month. I was still working on the body. I kept trying it on and trying it on until I got a good length and then went ahead and bound off. And I've also made one of the sleeves, and now I'm working on the second sleeve. So after I finish the second sleeve, the only thing left to do will be the collar and button band and figuring out what kind of buttons I might want to add to this, or if I'm going to keep it as an open front cardigan, or what is going on with that. So first off, the yarn that I'm using is a worsted weight 100% acrylic yarn. This is Karen 1 pound in the colors white and dark gray mix. It looks very black and white, which is what I was going for. I had a lot of fun working on this in the month of October. It just had like spooky vibes, Beetlejuice, Cruella de Vil kind of thing. I was really hoping to finish this, but that did not happen, obviously. I did decide, so let me just say, I'm kind of making up this pattern as I go. I used some sweater patterns I have in my Ravelry library as a reference, and as well as the other sweater I have going as reference for size, and I'm just making up sleeve decreases and stuff as I go. Thankfully, this worked out great. I did have to rip back a little bit, but otherwise, it's pretty much perfect. Yeah, so I decided to do an I-cord bind off. So I didn't do ribbing at the bottom. because white is the main color in this pattern, I thought why not just go for white for the finishings, the edges on the hem, uh, edges on the sleeve, and then I'll also do the collar in white. I also had a thought this morning of possibly using both colors in the button band collar and doing a garter stitch edge. I'm playing around with a lot of ideas in my head. I'm worried about, so I'm trying to make this a V-neck here, so I want the V-neck to be seen as a V-neck and not rounded out. I don't want, if I were to do a ribbed edge, I don't want it to squeeze this in so that the bottom edge is curled. I've had that on some store-bought cardigans before, and I find it really annoying that the bottom corner here like rolls up because the ribbing cinches this in. So I don't want that kind of effect. I'm worried about picking up this many stitches. Like I do not have a cable needle big enough to do that. So I'd have to split this up into sections or use multiple cabled needles, which means I'd probably have to order some more. I don't know. All of these thoughts are jumbling around in my head as I try to plan the kind of collar and button band that I want to do. So I haven't made those decisions yet. I'm really liking the I-cord edge. I think it just finishes it off. I wanted just a clean edge on here. I'm also debating on going back and putting in pockets. I've already looked up some tutorial videos on how to do that. I found one by Stephen West, and I thought it was very clear, and I think it's something I could do on this. But I'm not going to do that until I decide on the collar and button band first. If I do pockets, it'll be the very last thing I do on this garment. But yeah, so I've made really good progress. I'll say the the sleeve decreases. So what I do is every time I make a decrease, I put a stitch marker. And now to do the second sleeve, what I do is I take that corresponding stitch marker off of the first sleeve and I move it to the second sleeve. And this is how I count my sleeve decreases so that the two sleeves match, but I don't have to make tally marks or write down what row I'm on or anything like that, because honestly, this has been a lot to keep track of. So you can see I have quite a few decreases to go, but I was able to find a nice rhythm where basically these stitch markers are almost an inch apart here. So it's almost every inch I did a decrease and got down to a nice sleeve length and width. I didn't want to go for balloon sleeves on worsted weight acrylic because it's very, it's not a drapey thing, it's very structured. But I also didn't want the sleeves to be skin tight, and so it's just right. It's wonderful. I'll show you the back side so you can just see the stitch pattern in all of its glory. I really do. I love this. This is just the cast on edge, but see, I could just do I-cord, but then that would leave this very open. I don't know. So, yeah, I'm hoping I finish it this month in November. The project that never ends. The yarn for that project is definitely a total mess. The dark gray mix, I must not have started with a completely full skein because it seemed like I had less of this. So when I cast on for the second sleeve, I decided I would ball up that yarn because the skein that I've been pulling from the middle got very, very floppy. You can see this one is getting that way as well. I'm not sure if you can tell, but it's covered in Marjorie's dog hair. But yeah, it's just, it's a mess, and I hate it, which is a reason why I'm not wanting to work on this as much in the evenings, because the yarn management is annoying. But the only way it will get finished is if I work on it, so I kind of force myself to pick it up and do a few rounds. Yeah. But then my other garment that I'm working on is another 2-color broken seed stitch sweater. So the same stitch pattern, but this one I'm working in fingering weight yarn, and I'm leaving it as a pullover sweater and not a cardigan. So I have only knit a few rounds, like maybe 10 rounds on this over the course of the last month, I think. But I tried it on this morning, and it's at crop length, which is not what I'm wanting a full length sweater out of this, but it was very rejuvenating to try this on and see, oh, it's already down to about my waist area. And so I put a stitch marker, where is it? Oh, why can't I find it? Oh, because it's on the back side. So I had tried it on this morning, and I've worked a few rounds since then. But yeah, it's got the collar on, and so I'm going to work the body. I did 1x1 ribbing up here, so I'll do 1x1 ribbing down here as well in the green color, and then I'll pick up for the sleeves. I'm considering doing a little bit of a balloon sleeve on the wrist, where you have it sort of wide and then you decrease drastically and then do the ribbing, so you get a little bit of a puff. Maybe is puff sleeve or balloon sleeve? I don't know what it's called. Which I think will be easier with this fingering weight fabric. It's much more drapey than the acrylic worsted weight is. The yarn that I'm using here is Knit Picks Palette, which is 100% wool. This will not be a machine washable garment. This will have to be hand washed. But the colors I'm using are, the green is Aurora Heather, and the tan light brown is Hair Heather, hair like a rabbit. And I just love it. I'm seeing on screen there's like a stripe across here. So I had blocked the garment up until here. So it's just that from here down it hasn't been blocked yet. After I work a few more inches, like maybe 4 more inches on the body, which will be getting close to the length I want to see, I will do another block just to see if it shrinks or grows in length at that point. And then I'll assess how much farther I need to knit, and then I will do the ribbing on the bottom, which will probably be 1 or 2 inches of ribbing. But yeah, I already had some of this in my stash when I started the project. I did have to order a few more balls because I wouldn't have enough for a whole sweater otherwise, but I'm on the second set. So I've already used 2 balls in here, 1 green and 1 brown. I'm on the second of each. Each ball is 231 yards or something like that. So I'm getting close to having put in like 900 yards into this thing. and I still need to do the sleeves. So it's a bit of a yarn hog, but I like it. I'm so excited for this sweater. I'd love to have this one done by Christmas. Honestly, I feel like this could be a really nice Christmas sweater. So both of those sweaters are on my fall making list, and fall ends, I think, December 22nd. My hope is that I will finish both of those by then. I also have on my fall making list a poncho with sleeves, which is a crochet project, and I haven't even started it yet. Which honestly, I mean, these two garments are big projects that are taking a while. I don't want to start a third big project and just feel super overwhelmed. So I won't start that until I finish one of these garments. But also I wanted to make a pair of socks. Last time I showed you a pair of socks that I'd almost finished the first sock. And I said, oh, I'll finish this while I'm editing the podcast. And that didn't happen. It's still in the exact same place. So that's boring. But I cast on another pair of socks and I finished the first one. I needed something just plain. So I'm not doing multiple colors. I'm not doing an interesting pattern stitch. It's just a solid color sock, which honestly I feel like we could use more of in our wardrobes, so it works out nicely. I needed something a little less intricate, and this way I can knit while walking on the treadmill or something, which I need to do more of. But yeah, so this is I'm doing 2x2 ribbing for the leg all the way down the instep. I've got a heel flap and gusset. This time I decided not to do the garter stitch edge on the heel flap. I've been really liking the garter stitch edge, but I've noticed on the heel flap one of the edges is much tighter than the other, and I thought, well, maybe that's because of the garter stitch. I went back to doing this regular one, and the same thing happens with slipping that first stitch on the knit side and the purl side. One side is way looser than the other. So this is the loose side here, and then this is the tighter side here. So you can see this one is much more clean and defined than this side. And that really annoys me. It doesn't annoy me. I mean, I can see it here. Oh, it bothers me so much. So I don't know how to remedy the fact that I think it's when I'm slipping the stitches on the purl side, that's when they get super loose. But then when I slip them on the knit side, it's tight. And oh, it really bothers me. I don't know how to overcome that, but anyway, these socks are for Michael. He wears a lot of blue, so this will coordinate with a lot of his wardrobe. I did cast on the second sock last night. I did get started on that. I didn't get too far because I want to sort of save this project for when I'm walking or I'm in the car. And so I'd done enough to cast it on and get it started. And then I set it aside to work on one of my sweaters because sweaters, massive time, and I need to put in the time or else they won't get done. The yarn that I'm using for this is from Knit Picks. This is Knit Picks Felici, and the color is Raz. This is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. It's a fingering weight yarn. I'm using US size 1 needles. I'm using two 16-inch circulars and doing this, you know, sort of magic loop thing, but I like to knit my socks either with two 16-inch circulars or magic loop. I really like those methods. Double point needles, every once in a while I feel like working with them. It's not a common occurrence for me. 9-inch circular, I've tried a few times. It hurts my hands after a while. I feel like my hands have to be like this. And the palm of my hand just is like, oh. But when I knit the other way, I feel like my hands can be more spread out. So I can do 9-inch circulars, and I do have one. I just haven't done that in maybe a couple of years. It'd be worth trying again. So that's all that I've been actively working on in the month of October. 2 garments and a pair of socks. I feel really silly for not finishing anything, especially because I do record these monthly episodes, and part of the intent was that this would motivate me to finish at least one thing every month, and this year that hasn't been happening every month. And I know I'm busy with work. I've been kind of stressed out. I've taken on a lot of things, and you know, it's kind of showing up in my crafting that I don't have as much time for this as I'd like to have. So it's just something that I need to think about as I agree to more and more things. that time has to come from somewhere. So anyway, I did dress up for Halloween. I haven't dressed up for Halloween in a really long time. Usually I'll wear something festive, like a Halloween themed shirt or dress, or like a headband with a tiny witch hat on it or something. But this year I actually dressed up. So I'll put a picture in of my costume. So I dressed up as my D&D character. I play Dungeons and Dragons with my husband and a small group of friends, and we played D&D on Halloween. So I dressed up as my character, who's a halfling wizard, and I just had a lot of fun with it. So I wanted to incorporate an element of knitting or weaving in the costume, but I ran out of time to throw something together. So next year, next summer, I need to spend some time planning Halloween costumes, and maybe I'll actually get them done in time. So now I want to show you my new fiber tools that I acquired. So I found a listing on Facebook Marketplace, and I've been looking for either a drum carder or combs or some kind of upgrade on what I have now for a price that I could afford that's close by. I see postings for things on the other side of the state, and while it's a really good deal, if you factor in driving time and fuel, it then becomes less of a good deal and just something I can't find the time to make a 4 to 5 hour drive one way for. So something popped up of someone nearby, and they listed a drum carder for a reasonable price that was also going to come with some combs. And I went, this is the best deal ever. This is my Christmas present, birthday present, everything rolled into one, basically. And she threw in so much more with this than I could have expected. So I have a lot to show you. So first up is this beautiful, beautiful drum carder. It's a manual drum carder, which is exactly what I wanted. It's a Strauch. I don't know how you say that. Oh, It's amazing. Let me just show you the tag down there. So this is what I have, and it is, I haven't used it yet, you guys, but I'm so excited to. She gave me the tools to go with this, like brushes to clean and the picker to pick the fiber off. Oh my God. So we have brushes and a little blending board thing. We've got some instructions. We've got clamps. Oh, amazing. So that all goes with the drum carder. But then I've got this other box. We've got another like packer brush for the drum carder. She threw in this to help clean the drum. We've got combs. Even more hand cards, which I certainly didn't need, but she said she didn't want them. Please take them. So the hand cards that I have are flat, and these are rounded, so that's kind of cool. There are these huge combs as well. She did warn me those are very, very sharp. Not really sure what this is. Looks like a tool to clean things. Diz. Oh, that's cool. Another clamp. Brush. Oh, here's the picker. This will help pick the bat off of the drum. Another Diz. But I'm not done. She also gave me a bunch of fiber. So she had made a separate listing of fiber, and someone had to come and pick those up, and then she found even more fiber in her stash, which I think we can all relate to. But she threw it in for free, so I've got some various things. I think she said these are from Paradise. A braid here, which I'm wanting to spin immediately. Some more things here. Some more things here. And some more things here. And 2 totes of raw wool that needs to be cleaned a little bit more and processed. So I have one of them here in the craft room, the other one's still out in the garage. And she threw in some wool wash, bottles of wool wash, because she's like, I'm not going to need it. And I'm just like overwhelmed in a good way, but feeling like I robbed this lady, because the price for all of this was insanely low and she would not take any more money from me. But I just feel super blessed and excited. So to finish off 2024, I really want to finish the knitting projects that I have on the needles that I already planned for my fall making. But for 2025, I want to do a lot of fiber prep and spinning and just having lots of fun with my new drum carder and combs and all the fiber that I already have, as well as the new additions. And I'm just really excited. I just noticed she also gave me some dowels to roll up things. Yeah, I'm excited. It's really cool. Also, my craft room is pretty stuffed with tools. I've got my big stand-up inkle loom back here. I have my treadle spinning wheel in front of me. I've got the drum carder on the table. I've got my sewing machine here on the desk. And it's just a crafty little cozy wonderland that I just want to be here all day. I don't want to go to work. So that's all I have for you today. I look forward to seeing you in future episodes. I have lots of fun things planned, and hopefully I can find the time to record all of these things and put them up on YouTube for you. Until next time, I hope that you stay safe, stay healthy, and that you enjoy your crafts, whatever they may be. Bye!